Well, let's talk about fundraising. You guys have raised. I usually ask how much have you guys raised, how many rounds. I know you've done multiple rounds. I think the last was Series E, but what's your funding summary?
Yeah, so we just finished our Series E, and yeah, we started in 2013. We raised a $2.1 million seed round, and then our A was 15, and our B was 30, and our C was 30, and our D was 50 or 60, and our E was 90. So whatever that is, I'll let you do the math. Yeah.
That's amazing. It's incredible. And it looks, I'm just looking at the pitch book. It looks like those were fairly spread out, every, I don't know, 18 months or plus or minus something like that, right? Over the time frame. Let's go in order here. Talk about raising that seed round. Way back when I worked with Kickstarter when they were just getting off the ground. I was doing some consulting at the time and tried to help them raise that early on, and people thought it was a crazy idea. Did you encounter the same kind of sentiment when you were raising that seed round, or did you already have, I mean, you talked about your example of how you got six figures pretty quickly on your own platform. Did you guys have like traction from the get-go? Talk about raising the seed round is really the question.
I mean, yes, we had traction on the platform, on the product, but I was a first-time founder. I was a first-time CEO. I was a creator. I was like,
yeah.
So I had zero credibility as a company builder, as an entrepreneur. I mean, zero. And on top of that, investors didn't know, they didn't understand our market. Like now investors get this, it's like people call it the passion economy or the creative economy. And like people understand that there's this economy here. They understand what creators are. I spent the first 30 to 40 minutes of every fundraise pitch just explaining what creators were to investors. I didn't even have time to pitch the company. We were just answering questions like, wait a minute, come on, how many YouTubers are there? Is this really that big of a market? Come on, could you ever get to $1 billion that you're sending to creative? Like, no way. And I had to just like convince people that like creators were a real thing and that there were more and more of them and that this was a real problem for them. That was most of the pitch, honestly, at the beginning, was just trying to get people to understand the market that we were serving.
That's interesting. But you ended up with some pretty impressive names. I think Alexis Ohanian, and I saw some other names in there I recognize. How did you end up identifying? You were a creator yourself. You doesn't sound like you were in the tech or CEO world. How'd you kind of get connected to some of these people?
So my freshman year roommate, Sam Yam, who's co-founder, we're co-founders in Patreon together, and he had built companies before.
Okay.
And so he knew a bunch of folks who we added as advisors who could facilitate some introductions. That was really big. So we added a couple early advisors who knew some VCs and knew some seed folks and could kind of send some intros and get us some meetings. And so that was kind of how we got the meetings. But most of the people we met said no. I mean, we pitched a lot of people and almost everybody said no. It was
how many do you think you pitched? Sorry to interrupt. Do you think you pitched at that seed round stage?
I don't remember. It was probably like 20 to 30 folks.
Oh, okay. That's actually not that many. I mean, but still.
Yeah. It wasn't like hundreds, we pitched maybe 20 to 30 folks, and it took probably a few months. And then a couple months in, Josh Felser from Freestyle Capital. He's not at Freestyle anymore, but at the time he was. He wrote us our first check. We were looking for $700,000, and he said, "I'll take the full 700." and we had been talking to a few other firms at the time, and so we called them up and we said, "Hey, sorry, the round is full. We got this new investor that wants to take the full thing." And they said, wait a minute, come on, you should raise more than that."
Yeah.
you should raise 2 million, and let us put some in too. And actually, of course, that was a little self-serving, but they were also right. And I'm glad we raised 2 million instead of 700,000. So, the other investor that we added very early on that was like company inflecting and very important for us was Sar Gur from Star, who was in our seed round. And Sar has just become like a very close mentor and coach to me, and has been so active and involved and so wonderful. He's like a very good. Sar is an operator, and a founder himself, and so also just like a very good manager, and just helped me a lot. And still helps me a lot. So that was awesome getting him on board, and I'm glad we ended up raising a little bit more than we needed, because we were able to take a few extra swings, hire a few more people, make a few more mistakes, try a few more things. So that was really valuable.